Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm flying solo on the couch today. Kurt is still sick. He's doing better, but he didn't figure that you guys wanted to hear him coughing constantly. And he's right. Nobody needs to be listening to the constant coughing. Angel will be showing up here in a minute. He is on solo kid duty this weekend, so he will be here. But we've got some great people in the chat. We've got Sammy, we've got Ro, we've got Billy, Mutation Creation, James B. Easy, and we've got Matt from KMB Reptiles. Welcome, Matt. You're new here. We've got Shauna. I had the pleasure of meeting Shauna and Ro last weekend, and Matt, actually, too. Let's see who else we have. We have the Heart of the Python. Anything exciting this weekend? No. This is it. This is as exciting as my life gets, and I think it's pretty darn exciting. Marcus and Tiffany. We have Angela's Reptiles and Spiders. Welcome, Angela. We have TJ. TJ, you're always so nice. It's good to see you here. We have Logan, Jamie. We got to meet Jamie in real life. Aaron from Batter Up Balls, and Don. Don, you have your big show tomorrow. You'll have to drop in the chat who your person is or your people are tomorrow. We had a great time at Southeast Reptile Expo. Had an absolute blast. Came home sick, but that's okay. Not sick from the trip, sick from all of the germs we encountered before we left for the trip, apparently, because we got home and everybody here in Washington State sounds the same as we do right now. But I think it's a nationwide illness. We're all just sick. We need spring. That's all I have to say for now. It's really weird to be solo on the couch, people. Kurt's usually sitting right here. I've got a dog who could say hello. Can you say hello, Nellie? Doesn't she look just so excited to be woken up from her slumber? But today we have an amazing guest, one that I have been excited to get to know more, and one that I have been getting to know more, who has amazing merch that I love. And that's Jamie from Professor's Pythons.
Hey.
Welcome, Jamie.
How are you doing today?
Welcome. Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just relaxing on Saturday.
Yeah, you went to a reptile show today just to visit.
Yeah.
Did you see anything neat? No. Just same old stuff.
Not really. It's just a smaller and same old. nothing new. Or at least for me, but a lot of times when I'm going, I'm looking for stuff to add to my project, and I've got some pretty specific stuff that isn't really carried by a lot of people. So,
isn't it weird when you get to that point where you go to a show and you're like, I don't need anything? So weird.
It is. I was like, I would want that, but I don't need it.
Exactly. Because then you'd get home with it and you'd be like, well, shoot. Now I don't really need this, even though you're pretty. I don't need you.
Exactly.
That whole thing is so real, fitting things into your projects.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm trying to go through my rack right now and basically straighten out, clean up my racks to make sure that the stuff that I have is all towards my projects or ones that I've held back because I like them, my pets.
I know. Which is always inevitable. There's always the ones you can't let go of because they're just so cool.
For sure.
I tried to hold on to too many, and Kurt was like, but what are we going to do with it? And I'm like, I don't know. But what are we going to do with it? I don't know. Stop asking me. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I just think that's neat. Let's just keep it. It's like, you can't keep them all. That's my same demise with the rats, which I've learned. I'm learning to let go.
For sure.
Which is tricky. Do you raise your own rodents and things?
I do not. I wish I had A, the space, and B, I think I would get too attached to them, like you are mentioning. Like, I would feel so bad. I do feed live from time to time, just because I know that is, biology in the circle of life. And I do also feed frozen thawed. But I think if I even raised the live up, it would be even harder than it already is. The emotional side, because I've had rats and hamsters and mice as pets all the time. So,
yeah. I understand that. Don commented that his guest tomorrow is Chad from Gator Pool Gators. I think
Ooh.
they were on Hair Down last night, I think,
Okay.
and had amazing things. But now I will need to check out tomorrow on Dawn's show.
Same.
Right?
There's so many shows.
There are, but they're all so good. There's so many
Yeah.
things to see.
Exactly.
That's why Craig and I are working on the lowdown. Craig and Kurt and I forget about Kurt because he's sick and he's not here next to me, but working on the lowdown live so we can get clips for people so you don't have to watch all the shows. Like you do watch the shows, but you can like get
snippets.
new shows. Yes, snippets, and then go back and watch the whole thing.
Yeah, little bites.
Yeah, it's been fun. It has been fun. What our girl from you is doing amazing.
Awesome.
She's doing so good. I'll have to send you some pictures of her. Yes.
Nice.
Yes, she's beautiful. She loves her food.
Yeah, she does.
It's feeding day all the time.
Yeah.
Learned that quickly about her. I was like, open the drawer slowly because she thinks it's food time, even if it's not food time. Look who's here. Welcome, Angel.
Hey, Angel.
Hey. Sorry.
We were just chit-chatting. You have less beard now or something, don't you?
Much less beard, yes.
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 It looks good. You just look
you.
different.
Yeah.
Caught me by surprise.
I'm the other one. I'm the good one. I shave.
Yeah, there you go. Not the evil angel. You're the good angel. That's good to know. Jamie knows, but Kurt is sick. He has, I think, what you had. So
I wish that
he has endured 4 or 5 days of having a fever, which that is gone now. But now he is just in bed.
Stay there. That's it.
Yeah.
Just stay there. Drink lots of water. Don't move. Sweat that shit out. That's all I did. 10 days. I need 14 days. It was almost. Whatever.
14 days.
Dang.
Yeah, it sucked. But anyway, let's talk about happy times. I don't want to talk
Yes, happy times. Let's do it. Oh, I was just telling Jamie about our girl that we got from her is doing well. She's a good eater. She's a beast. Jamie, you're working on a project for US Arc, right?
Yeah, I've been collecting T-shirts from different breeders, ball python, cresties, basically any type of reptile, preferably, or plant breeder. And I've been cutting those shirts up, and we're going to combine them in a huge quilt that will be donated to US Arc. It actually looks like we have enough shirts that we might try to make 2 quilts.
Wow.
And auction them off at 2 separate ARC events at their auctions to raise money for them. My mom's quilting guild is going to donate the actual quilting part of it. They're going to have someone do that, which is usually a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And then, depending on how well or what it goes for at US Arc, I would love to make this like a yearly thing of collecting everyone's shirts and putting it together and then auctioning it off.
I bet it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. We're trying to aim for the Repticon in June in Pomona. And if not that one, the one in Anaheim, which I think is in September. Since they just have the attendance that is at those auctions is a lot bigger than some of the smaller ones. Who knows? Maybe I'll go to Tinley. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a dream, man. It's a dream.
Tommy says it's an awesome idea.
Awesome.
It's an awesome idea. Now we all want the quilt, but we want quilt will travel, hopefully.
Pass it around.
Yeah, right. You get this week. Can't keep it any longer.
And then every time someone gets it, they got to add a shirt.
Oh, that would be cool.
You know how massive that thing would be at the end?
Look at that.
If you want to donate a shirt, you can. Just reach out to me on Instagram, Professor's Pythons. You're more than welcome to. I can still take shirts. We have yet to finish cutting all out the logos and kind of piecing them and figuring out where they're going to lay.
I think Craig was just saying to me this morning that he has to send you a shirt.
It's
So
all
you got
good. Yeah, just message
2
me.
more shirts.
Yeah.
Look, I'll put your link right.
And it doesn't even have to necessarily be a shirt too. Like if anyone has, basically it's any kind of anything that you have that's material that has your logo on it. Because we ended up at the last Pomona show, I ended up getting some cloth bags with logos on them.
Oh, that's a great idea too.
Yeah, and it, we're cutting out. My mom and I are cutting out any of the anything that's printed on the shirt. So if you have a tiny logo on the front and a big logo on the back, we're cutting those both out. If you have something on the sleeve, we're cutting it out, and then we hold on to all the shirt scraps. Just because when piecing it all together to make like a puzzle, if there's any small, tiny spots that need a filler, we just take one of the shirts and cut that material and put it there.
That's an excellent idea. You guys are so crafty.
Yeah.
You and Angel, crafty people. I'll just
What
cheer you
craft-
guys on.
What crafts have you made, Angel?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out how my craft.
Angel, you use your 3D printer.
Oh,
You think of
that,
all
yeah.
sorts of things to
Yeah,
make
that's
with
different.
that.
Yeah,
That's a different kind of crafting, but it's still crafty.
I guess so.
It is.
Yeah.
Very much is.
What's up, Sammy?
Hi, Sammy.
Excuse me.
Gotta love Sammy and his bright pink. Absolutely love it. So, Jamie, what are your big projects that you're working with your ball pythons?
So I am really into TSK Exanthic. I like to call it a partner gene. So basically, on its own, it's not necessarily the most impressive, but with other genes, it just pops, and the black and white looks amazing. So my goals with that are to make the darks darker, and of course the lights lighter, so it has more of that the stormtrooper look that everyone is like about, as well as I've got a couple other projects working on TSK tri-stripes, and then I've got another project in the works. I'm working on a TSK Super Hatari mix or combo morph, and I want to nickname it when I get a Super Hatari. It's Super Hatari, if you don't know, is an Atari, and so it will be a Exanthic Atari, which Atari is an old video game for anyone who doesn't know. And so I wanted to nickname the combo of the morph old school and try to push that out there. If it's an Exanthic Atari, it's an old school. Yeah, I don't know. Just me being silly.
There hasn't been a lot of Atari
I like it.
stuff, really. I mean,
there hasn't.
It's definitely another one of those genes that if you don't really know much about it, it's because you don't really see it around that much. And most people that do have like Ataris themselves, they don't really share a lot, because there's not that many of them out there.
There is not. There's not that many. I want to say there's like 4 or 5 different breeders, at least that I've come into contact with through the grapevine, and it's not a big really worked thing. It's a gravel. It's part of one of the gravel morphs, so it makes it very grainy on the sides. Yeah. So I'm still learning piece by piece about Hatari, mainly from Randy from Dark Cloud Reptiles. He's the one that has hooked me up with my first couple Hataris here, and is allowing me to work with it and grow it into that black and white Atari.
That's really neat.
So
I know go ahead, Angel. Sorry.
So with the Atari stuff, for people that really aren't familiar with it, can you explain like what it actually is, what it does, what a Hatari is, and what an Atari is, to the best of your knowledge?
Like I was just saying, it's one of the gravel morphs. So it kind of makes the sides of the snake. Let me see if I can pull out
I
one
guess
of my
what I'm
better
saying, like,
examples.
is it incomplete dominant? Is it, you know,
Oh, so since there's not too much information on it, it's Hatari is considered a codom because it messes with the pattern. It originally was thought to be recessive, hence it was Hatari, Hetari.
Hmm.
And it turns out that it's not, and that there's a super form. And that's what that's the gist of the information that I understand and know. Um, Randy from Dark Cloud Reptiles would be so much better person to talk about it. He's one that I've been slowly getting that information about and learning more and more about the Hatari. Right now, I have 5 or 6 of them in my collection. That some of them are growing out, and others are already grown, and I've been starting to pair with my Xanthics so that I'll hopefully get some Hataris, Het Xanthics, as well as with other morphs. They're not just single Hataris. They have other stuff in them. So we'll see.
Snake names are just so much fun. So much
Oh my
fun
God.
to remember what they all mean, you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, they're great. Yeah, definitely. And then some of like the new ones where it's like, is it that the same thing as the other thing? Or like we're finding out now with genes that, coral glow and banana, we've always kind of thought are the same thing, right? But like there's so many, black Xanthic and TSK, they are considered the same gene. Like
it's weird. It's crazy.
it is.
Genetics.
It very much is.
But it's also not crazy if you think about it in a way. When you're breeding these animals and you have what you're going to call TSK, I have black Xanthic, and the reason is because people saw darker babies, kept the darker babies, bred those together, then kept the darker babies, and it just, that's, to me, you could do that with anything. Pick any gene and just keep the nicest ones. And you may, in your eyes, you might see those darker ones as the nicer ones. Somebody else might see the lighter ones. So they go that more silvery route, that more like brighter color of what an can be versus how, a darker one. Because I've seen VPI Xanthics that are like silver, like amazing. And then I've seen VPI Xanthics that are black, like super dark.
Yeah. I think it really has to deal with what also there's something else working in the darker ones. Because I have a handful of TSK that are considered dark phase, which are probably black Xanthic, which is, once again, the same thing. They have the location of okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're compatible, but they're also being found on the same allele.
I don't know anything about Xanthic. I don't. We just had HRA stuff. We have one left. That's all I know about. It's as close to Xanthic as I get.
It's
cool. It's like if you think about the VPI Xanthic, it's an older gene. It's been around for a really long time. And then after that was the Jolliffe Xanthic that, they had proven not to be compatible. It's different. It's a different type of Xanthic. It's not quite the same, and then you get your TSK and then your MJ and like there's all these different versions and so on. And they're all their own lines and they're not compatible with each other.
But I know it's beautiful because when we were at the show last weekend and you'd walk up and there'd be a case that had Xanthic in it and it just looked like a black and white movie. Just so beautiful.
They're cool. They're really cool, especially when and this, depending on what you mix with them, like fire and Xanthic works really well. Pastel and Xanthic works really well,
Yeah, those are the partner genes that I always recommend. Always pairing with them is pastel, fire. Some of the other ones that I have in there. Lesser has been one that's been showing up pretty well.
Have you seen the super vanilla Xanthic ones. Those
I've heard about that one too. I don't have any in my collection, but
those are gorgeous.
yeah, there's definitely, that's definitely another one that I've seen do well with bringing the lighter colors in.
Something that lesser works well with, which is a lot of things, but we don't get to hear it a lot because usually you hear people hating on it.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I know it is.
Those genes really do keep it from browning out, as they say. But I've had some older ones. They don't. I don't know. Either it's because of selective breeding and we're making them nicer and they're aging nicer now, better quality. But I don't see as much browning as they used to. Like back in the day, then things just turned brown. Now they just seem to hold it better. And then of course we're using even Orange Dream. Orange Dream is really good
Yes.
with Xanthic as well. So, but like you said, those helper genes, those genes that light and bright and clean, those are the genes that you want to use, especially if you want to keep something, keep a brightness, keep a color, keep something from fading. To me, those are like the best genes to use.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And I get questioned all the time, like, why did I go TSK versus VPI versus MJ versus Geoff? And my response to that question literally is I don't turn people away from one Xanthic versus the other. I usually explain to them that, with VPI, there's a lot more out there. Like you just said, it's an older gene, or, it was discovered. There's a lot more out there. So the quality, you just got to be a little more careful with it, like looking for the good breeders that are picking and choosing. Sometimes lesser is more.
Billy is always so good with his jokes. Good job, Billy.
That you just got to be a little more picky, choosy kind of thing. At least VPI is there's a lot more out there, in my opinion, and hence your price tag's probably going to be a lot less than the other three, because there's the more availability. There's more of a chance to possibly get that snake, in my opinion, that's going to brown out when it's older. And I always say too, for them to ask what the parents look like. Ask what what if they've browned out, or what do they look like? Do they still look black and white? And then TSK, I decided to go with that versus MJ simply because I can't afford an MJ. Those are expensive. Although I do feel MJ is there's been a lot more selective breeding with MJ than TSK and VPI. So that's kept, I feel like most of the MJ come out that cleaner, not as brown.
Yeah, it feels like the hands that got onto it first definitely ran it through their collections a little more, as you said, selectively, for sure.
Yeah.
Which you should do.
Yeah, no, across the board.
Want to make some nice stuff, like put it to nice stuff, and keep nice stuff, and just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
I get to the point where snake morphs hurt my brain sometimes. That this was one of those moments, like, this is so amazing. I don't. My brain is like, it puts up this wall. It's like, nope, we cannot let it in. That happens to me, guys, with, what is it, Cryptic and Krypton?
Oh, God.
Nobody's business. That's where my brain is like, red flag. Run.
Too much.
Wait. Gosh. I want to get it all. It's amazing to me that there's so many different lines of Xanthic and that they're all different prices. And they're all kind of the same, right?
The way that I was able to wrap my brain around it is, it's like dogs and breeding dogs, or maybe you've got a Frenchie. You know how many good Frenchies are out there, and how many bad Frenchies are out there due to bad breeding. Or different colorations of Frenchies, kind of thing. And so with the Xanthics, it's like a bunch of, well, you can't breed them together and get a Frenchie, but
That would be something.
But with Xanthics, it's like, there's higher quality dogs and there's lower quality breeds of
Yeah.
dogs. They're all
But-
still dogs, and technically you could breed them together, but you're not going to get a purebred Frenchie unless you put a Frenchie and a Frenchie together, kind of thing.
And then there's also the examples of these morphs. You know,
Mhm.
like because you'll see an MJ, and you're like, wow, that's cool. You'll see TSK, you'll see all of these different ones, Jolliffe line. You'll see all these lines, and you're like, wow, that's incredible. I didn't know it could look like that for whatever reason, because in the hands of whoever it was that was breeding it, they were really selective about what they were doing. But I think each one, just like with other animal or other things, I think each one might do a little bit something. Maybe this one's a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Maybe it works a little differently with certain genes. Because when you look at like Axanthic pieds, the MJ line is it's really nice. It's really nice. It's hard to go like, I've seen a really shitty MJ lightning pied. I have not. I can't say that I have. They're really nice. They definitely did the right thing with those. But again, with other genes, like I've seen really shitty versions of one thing, and I've seen amazing versions. Like yellow bellies. I've seen yellow bellies that I know it's a yellow belly. I couldn't tell you. It looked completely normal. And I've seen yellow bellies from across the room. I'm like, holy shit, look at that thing.
It's a yellow belly. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So what is the main difference? This is going to be my ridiculous question because I don't know anything about Xanthic, you guys, but what's the main difference between TSK and MJ?
I would say that MJ is been more selectively bred, in my opinion, and so it comes out cleaner.
Okay.
It's a little cleaner,
And
brighter,
and
like,
yeah, and statistically, if we go in math brain,
Nice.
I'm a teacher. If you guys don't know that, I'm a middle school teacher. But in a math brain, if you have less people who have that snake, there's going to be less snakes being pumped out too, or put out into the world. And if the breeders that own them are being selective, once again, statistically, you're having less of a chance of getting a snake that is going to brown out, or you're picking
Okay.
the ones that are the cream of the crop. And those ones are being bred. And I think that's what's happened majorly in MJ.
Got it. Yeah,
That's-
there's a lot less of them on Morph Market,
Mhm.
right? Like, that's for sure. See, I learned something new right now.
And overall too, I feel, it's just been more selective breeding, even with TSK and VPI. I mean, VPI, I feel like has had the least selective breeding, as well as, like Angel said, it's been out the longest. So once again, numbers too, statistically, you're having more chances of seeing the babies that maybe you don't like or are not as good looking. Compared to the others. So
Because I've produced VPIs, and in the same clutch I've produced, and I 100% know that it's a VPI Xanthic, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that looks almost normal, but it was also next to some that were like silver and jet black, but once I moved that one next to what I definitely knew was a normal, then I was like, okay, yeah, I could see this is a VPI Xanthic. But you do get those variations where some are just nicer than others. Obviously, those are the ones you want to keep or kind of reproduce.
And then Bear has to say this, and then my mind goes back to being
Oh,
mush.
that's right. That's right.
yeah, MJ was
That's
proven to be
VPI.
the same as GCR.
Mhm.
Yeah.
See, snake genetics. So much fun, you guys. So much fun.
But at
I don't
least
think
we're
we'll ever
finding
get
out now.
dementia.
Like at
Ever.
least you're finding out now versus having. I don't mind this, like chiseling it down, because instead of having 500 morphs, if we could chisel them down to 300, because so many were the same, or just different versions of different lines or something, that's cool. And then you find out that things aren't the same.
Yeah.
So that the whole genetic testing thing, whether you love it or not, is extremely helpful.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It saves years, man.
Saves you
Especially.
years, and it saves you money.
Yep. Yep. Especially working with a heterozygous morph that you want to make sure that your two parents have, so that you can have some homozygous babies.
And you said you're also working with TSK Tri-Stripe, right?
Yeah, I am.
Do you want to kind of go into that? I'm curious. I have some. That's why.
Okay.
Oh, no, you got it.
It's that project is less of my focus. It's just a side project.
Mhm.
I ended up picking up a trio of snakes from someone, a non-breeder. One is a female tri-stripe. The other one was a male tri-stripe het TSK exanthic, and then there was a female TSK exanthic. And I ended up picking them all up, just simply because, like, my goal right now is to basically all my snakes have either het TSK or a visual for TSK. I have a very small collection. Somewhere between, I mean, it sounds funny. I have a small collection. I have between 50 and 100 snakes, which is a very small collection for a breeder, right? But not for a pet owner. Most pet owners are like, whoa, that's a lot of snakes. So I picked up those and ended up having the male shed tested because it was possible TSK, and it came back positive.
Nice.
So then with that, I really like the look of the tri-stripe. Especially when it has a solid, when there's barely any breaks. And both the male and the female tri-stripe that I got from this person are very clean. Here, actually, they're right behind me. Hold on.
Thanks for hanging out, Billy. Billy has to head off. He's on Sky High's channel tonight. Well, come say hello. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for your joke, Billy.
It's just cool. I love Tri-Stripe. It's so
Oh,
simple.
I'm going to make you
but
bigger.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know, striped animals. I got super stripes.
There we go.
I think it's really cool. I mean, and her head, a little breakage there. And then the stripe is really solid. And the three of them.
Yeah. Look how dark.
Yeah. And then I was sitting there going, this in black and white. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Have you seen the Orange Ghost ones? Those are really nice too.
Orange Ghosts with
Yeah.
tri-stripe?
Yeah, the Hypo or Orange Ghost Tri-Stripes. They're really cool.
I have not. I picked up a baby from Ball Brilliance, which was just a pastel visual tri-stripe het TSK exanthic
Nice.
female that I'm trying to grow out. And I put the male that was het TSK to a visual TSK, so that she can hopefully have a clutch of het tri-stripes, visual TSK het tri-stripe, so that I can pair it with the pastel once it grows up. So
Cool.
I have more of a chance there, but I like the stripes.
I think it's cool. I always wanted one, so I bought one last year. I got one last year. I like them. It's just different. To me, it's different, and I really like looking at them.
Agreed.
I probably shouldn't bother him as much as I do because I need him to do some work. But
You want to look at them too. You want to enjoy them.
yeah,
I know. I think it's to see the solid dorsal instead of seeing broken up dorsal is just so different.
Mhm.
So,
And then when you see some of the ones that people have made, because again, this is another one that not a lot of people are doing a lot with, and I see them mixed with different things. And some things I wasn't like super impressed with. I saw a tri-stripe pied, and I wasn't super impressed with it. However, my brain is like, you know what? I want to kind of mess with that. Like, even though it didn't look impressive, I feel like I'd still like to see what else. Just as that, there was just one example. I can't go by just one example.
For sure. I kind of wish that on like Morphopedia or even on Morph Market's encyclopedia of all the morphs, that they would list, I mean, they list kind of a description of what the snake looks like, but kind of categorizing snakes into color morphs and pattern morphs, or what it does to a color versus a pattern. And So always when I'm thinking about my pairings genetically, I'm trying to think in a sense of, okay, tri-stripe is majorly a pattern morph. I don't want to throw that with something. I don't want to throw it with another pattern morph because it's going to be less of a visual. It potentially could be like, it's not like I want to mix Xanthic and Sunset together because those are both color morphs.
Weird.
Then it's kind of like, why do it? I mean, I wonder what that would look like, but you're erasing the value of the sunset is that it looks like a sunset, right?
Yeah.
Just take it out. Like, here you go. Here's your sunset. Like, it's normal. Like, you know,
It's a
this is normal-
sunset from a black and white film. We went
Okay,
back in
okay,
time.
all right. It just looks like it's faded up the sides. It's black and white fading up the sides.
Is this a yellow belly? What did
Yeah,
you give me
exactly.
here? What is this?
So, like, you know, I like to try to think of, at least when I'm trying to think of new combos or things that I would like, is like have one pattern and one color distortion there. And I know sometimes when you put two patterns, it makes it even more distorted, but I feel like you have to be more careful with that double pattern or double color because you can potentially not even see the effect if you've got two pattern.
Or you could ruin the one effect that you're going for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes you got to just try. You know, I think you should try stuff. You know, like, to be honest with you, my male is actually also 66% genetic stripe, and I've seen one. I saw a tri-stripe genetic stripe. It's all right. Like, but again, it was only like one example. Like, I hate shitting on things, but I've seen one or two examples that was just that example. Now, who's to say a genetic stripe, tri-stripe, pinstripe isn't some like insane looking thing? I don't know. I don't know. So, you know, messing around or throwing leopard in there or confusion or something, like when we're messing with these patterns and we sort of understand what they do, like pinstripe, we can see what that does. Tri-stripe, we can see what that does. You know, what do they do together? What do two stripe, like genetic stripe and tri-stripe, how does that interact? And I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but he could be. You know, I have a deep stripe female that I might throw him in just to see, you know?
Yeah. No, totally. And if I had the rack space and all the females in the world, I would totally just be like, let's find out.
And I think it's fun to have those two. Like I think it's fun to have those. Let's find out. Like, just, you know, like a pair or a trio. Like, don't go crazy.
For sure.
Don't go crazy. Gotta have a little bit of life on the edge, though. Just a little.
Like when you have a snake, you're like, I don't know what to pair it with. All right, well, let's go find the male that has the most other genetics, and we'll just throw that one in there and see what pops up.
Gosh. Sometimes it's your only hope at that point. There are those moments.
And that's
my favorite, though, is when...
go ahead. Happens. I was saying that's also how weird stuff happens. Like, weird stuff pops out because someone randomly put one random animal with another random animal, and then I don't know how this happened, but... You know,
those are my favorite when you're cutting eggs and you're like, what the heck? These morphs weren't in here. Where did that come from?
Mysteries. Mm-hmm. See, it all comes back to genetics.
Yep.
So much could be hiding. It could be a mystery. Oh, I have a commercial to play. An advertisement. I already told Jamie, but we have our epic promo to play.
All right, go for it.
All right, and then we'll come back. Don't leave us, people.
It's called Epic, the Exotic Pet Industry Conference, and it's free to register at epic.live. Epic is over 20 special guests across 16 sessions covering industry trends, marketing, branding, podcasting, and YouTube. Epic is for pet keepers and breeders. It's for gecko and invert lovers. It's for snake and spider lovers. Epic is for anyone who enjoys these amazing animals. Did I mention it's free? Register now at epic.live.
Welcome back. That's our Epic commercial. Epic advertisement. Ooh, you've got somebody there.
I've got something. I ran and got something. So this is a pastel fire Het TSK Het Clown. Let me see if I can get some better light here. And then this is its sibling,
Oh, wow.
the visual, but this one's super pastel fire TSK. Yeah, you're spicy. Calm down. My brother's in leather. Let me see if it'll come out. Come on out.
It works so well. Like Super Pastel Fire is that it works. They just work so well together. That's really pretty.
That is really pretty. I like the spots and the alien heads.
Mm-hmm. The blush
It's amazing.
on the sides and inside.
Yeah.
I love the blushing.
So
It's just wild. The longer you stare at them, the more you think, I think I've gone colorblind. But they're so amazing.
Yeah.
It's just because they make all the color wipe out and you just stare at them.
Yep.
That's so crazy. Beautiful. And those are the babies you've made?
Yeah, these two. Yeah, this one's for sale. This guy, not. I'm using him as a holdback.
Mhm.
And so I have Mom here too. Where are you?
Jamie says they're beautiful.
Thank you. So this is Mom. She's got a little bit of a yellow tint, even though she is a visual xanthic. Super fly. Right? Yeah. Super fly TSK xanthic.
Wow.
Right?
Her name is Assoul. AHSOUL. If you want to say it fast, you can. My
I
favorite
love
part
that.
is I did a presentation with her with the elementary school kids, and I was like,
Oh,
her
no.
name is Assoul. And all the kids were like, Assoul, Assoul.
Oh no. The things we do.
But, yeah.
Beautiful. We'll get like a good precursor to what he's going to look like when he grows up.
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit lighter in the yellowing,
Mhm.
hopefully, but we'll see. Dad was not a visual. Dad is a clown, yellow belly clown, Het TSK. So we'll see.
You got to hold back.
Yep, I've got a hold back to throw at some of my females when he gets big enough. So
That works out well.
for sure.
Can't go wrong there.
Definitely.
And what's your preferred feed for them? You feeding rats or ASFs?
For me?
For your snakes, what do you prefer? What do you feed?
I prefer frozen thawed if I can get them all on frozen thawed for a couple of reasons. I personally, I don't have anything against feeding live or anything like that. I don't have the space to raise live, as well as the safety issue of live, give or take, of that the rat or the mouse can bite the snake and cause a wound. But with that being said, I also, like I was mentioning earlier to Nikki, that I would get attached to the live. It's already hard for me to feed the ones that do eat live only, because I do have a handful that will not touch frozen thawed whatsoever. And we have a local pet store down here that has live, and I just go buy a bunch from him. But yeah, I have an issue even with that. Like, I have to not look at those live rats, because then I'm like, oh, that one's cute. I want to keep it. As for ASFs, technically, I don't think they're legal in California. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think they're legal. Of course, there are people who have them here. And if I need to, I use that as a last resort.
Yeah.
If someone's not eating. And if they're not eating live rats or mice, and then go to frozen thawed. So, but yeah, it's cheaper too if I can store the frozen thawed. I buy them in bulk, and I buy them in bulk from a woman who's in Colorado, actually, and get them shipped usually once every 3 months. And I'm buying, how many am I buying? I'm buying like over 300 rats that are in a freezer in the garage.
That's all right. We all got them in the freezer in the garage around here. So
Yep.
Or in the house.
Yep. They used to be in the house.
Yeah.
I am that
container
person.
That says, do not open. Like, don't go in there.
Yeah.
You might open the freezer for a popsicle and also find a small rodent
at you,
in the back.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, my husband.
People that come to our house all know that it's going to happen, so it doesn't even matter anymore. In order to get into the kitchen, you have to get past the tarantulas. So
that's my favorite thing about having. So half of my collection's at home, and the other half is in my classroom. And trying to be picky about them. I have a male. I have a het male. You can I'll give you a deal. But half of my snakes are in my classroom with my middle schoolers. And in the classroom, I have 3 terrariums that hold 3 of them. And then the rest are in a rack system in the classroom. And most people don't know what a rack looks like. Like, as a housing thing. And so it's always funny when someone's standing in front of the rack and one of the kids goes, yeah, there's ball pythons in there too. And the person's like, ah.
yeah.
Or like, how many do you have in your classroom? Or how many do you have now, Professor Ostrander? And I'm like, too many to count. I don't want to tell you. Like, I'm not going to count anymore.
No, you get to that point. Do you have to take them home then over the summer?
For 1 month, I do.
Okay.
And so usually what I do is I take the rack that I have there. It's the rack that I have at school is just 2 Vivarium Electronics 6 ones where you can change the tabs out. So I've got that goes home. And then I always make sure I have 3 big drawers like behind me available for the 3 that are in terrariums, and they get to chill there for a month. And then I bring them back and put them in their terrariums after that.
That's not bad at all.
That's not bad. Yeah.
No.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
No. Always makes me think of Class Pets. Always make me think of that new movie. Was it Leo? The bearded dragon.
Where they get to take him home and he talks to them. And yeah.
And he
go ahead.
And he tells the stories about all the horrible things and the good things that have happened to him. It just makes me think of
Yep.
that.
For sure.
Yours don't have to get sent home with anybody though, so that makes it so much better.
No, so many parents would hate that so much, I think. I mean, I do have the offer too. So we talk about basic genetics with them, recessive, dominant, codominant, all that stuff. And the kids hold them. And they get to predict what the babies are going to look like. And then we keep our fingers crossed that mom decides to lay them before school's out.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I tell my students, that if their parent approves, they can have any of the non-holdbacks for free. They just have to set up a terrarium to my standard of husbandry, because I'd rather them be spending the money that they would spend on a snake on a terrarium, and getting the best of the best for them. So that's the deal in my classroom.
Clint says that he never had any class pets growing up, and your class sounds like fun.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed. You don't hear about class pets very often anymore. So, but the majority of class pets I have been hearing about lately are reptiles. So
they're a lot easier and a lot less bitey.
No allergies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's the other one.
With. You know, you get a hamster or a rabbit. Like for me, forget about it. I can't even go in there if it's a rabbit. Like so when you have a leopard gecko in the classroom, you know, you have a ball python in the classroom, like that's incredible. That's incredible.
And way better to take care of than a fish.
Yeah, you deal with the water and filter and all that other stuff. You know, and if by some chance it doesn't get fed for a week, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay, you know. But you know, I would just worry about like if the animal's there and let's say like the power goes out or something like that, you know, things like that. But even with that, you could just have a battery backup if you really, really, really needed to. So they're great. They're great for classrooms.
For sure.
I might be
I think it's
biased,
fun
but-
that you have your students be part of it all. So then they get to, sometimes they lay eggs and you guys get to be all a part of that too.
See them hatch, predict what the babies are going to look like, and see if they're right. Usually they aren't. Hold on, let me put this in here.
Do lots of kids come back and visit you in the fall to see what's happened over the summer?
Yes, very much so.
I imagine.
Oh,
I would.
Have you ever cut a clutch in front of them?
I have, and then usually it's rare, but when they're not around and I cut a clutch, I usually post it on our school feed, and do a live YouTube, and some of them have jumped on there and watched it, as well as one year we got really, really lucky. So one of the things I do, I work for a charter school. And one of the things they do is a fundraising gala, and teachers are encouraged to give teacher experiences, to do stuff. And one year I did holding snakes and watching a movie in my room, something like that, with popcorn or a snack. And it was really funny, interesting and funny and ironic. The set of eggs we had in the incubator were starting to pip that day. And so the kids got to see all the snakes coming out and watching them pip and update, the ones that ended up voting and getting that experience, or not voting, bidding and getting that experience, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I've cut in front of them before. And I've fed live rats in front of them. I tend to be a little careful with that aspect, just because I feel like some parents might be a little sensitive to having their kids see the live rat be eaten by the snake. But I always allow them to come in and see the frozen rats be eaten, which is something interesting that they're always like, whoa, ah! So
I think it would be amazing. I think
Yeah,
it's really cool what you're doing.
Yeah, for kids,
Thanks.
it's an experience. It's an experience a lot of kids aren't going to get, and then as they get older, they might be like, that snake when I was a kid, man. I want one now. I moved out. My mom can't say shit. I want one now.
that's what I tell them. I say, save up now and get it, or do a PowerPoint presentation right now of why you deserve it and what responsibilities you need to do and what you need to take care of, all those things. So.
Oh, those are some lucky kids to have you, Jamie.
Thank you.
The cool part too is that you probably have days where it's not the easiest thing, because teaching is not always the easiest thing, but then you get to go there and see how excited they are about what you're sharing with them.
Yeah.
And that makes it worth it.
Yeah. I mean, some of my favorite things is when a student starts off the beginning of the year being afraid of snakes, and then by the end of the year, they're holding one and trying to convince their parents to get one. And that like is watching that growth of that fear and helping them understand the misconceptions that, you know, culture and society has kind of put towards snakes and bugs and all these things that, you know, the creepy crawlies and you know, trying to get them to at least have a respect, if not a love.
Not for nothing, but for kids, nothing gets you a pet. Listen up, kids. Nothing gets you a pet faster than incorporating education. If you mix education into getting a pet, your parents will they'll let you do it. They'll let you, just trust me, they'll let you do it. You know, just say you're doing a project on reptiles, forget about it. You know, it's fine. You're doing a project on reptiles every year until you graduate college, so don't worry about it. That's it. That's where you're gonna go with it. And you need a new snake every year, so you got to get another one every year. So
Yeah,
Quite a few snakes by the end of high school there.
I don't know what to say.
Kids, if you need help, message Angel. He'll help you write your plan.
I can help you get the PowerPoint. I can get it all. I can help you. Don't worry about it. I get you references, books. Listen. You want a snake? I help you out. I got you.
Oh, Angel.
It's educational
me up.
purpose. It's educational purpose.
it is. It is.
Plus, we need young keepers to come in.
Yeah.
Gotta have some other crazy people that carry this on.
Yep. I give them extra credit if they go to the shows and take a picture of themselves at the show, because they're learning about animals and reptiles.
That's
bugs
good.
and
Whatever it
creatures.
takes. Whatever it takes.
For
You
sure.
get even more
Nobody
credit
loves
if
extra
you pick
credit.
up if you get a snake or a gecko. Like, oh, you got an extra 5 points. Good job.
I don't want to encourage irresponsible buying of animals.
Jamie also doesn't want them all back at the end of the year. Oh, by the way, now I can't. You have to take it.
Yeah, because
No.
that is actually one of the things that is in the paperwork that I have when they do adopt one of mine for free. Is A, they can't sell it, and B, if they're ever going to get rid of it, it just comes back to me, and I take care of it. So yeah,
Jamie doesn't need 100 of those.
No.
No.
No. And this is very much my hobby. I mean, not my job, but whatever I sell, whenever I sell it, it goes back to the snakes. Like most of us, you know, in this industry.
It's just a cycle. Our money just recycles through ourselves and through each other. That's really how this goes.
There's times where I'm like, I've got too many. I need to go through. I think I'm just going to go put them on auction and see how much, if I make $5, feed one less mouth to feed.
True. It's true.
Wait, money? Y'all making money on this? Wait, what?
No, Angel. No.
No, not making money,
just
not at all.
Feeds the further addiction.
The cycle, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Totally
you get the money, you buy the rat food, you feed the rats, you feed the snakes. It just keeps going.
The rats are the most expensive thing I got.
Yes.
Like the rats are really the most expensive thing. So I'm hoping these ASFs ramp up because I'd like to just switch over to those.
Have yours had babies yet?
No. They're
Not
still
yet.
just
Or I can't remember. Are they're still friends? Okay. It should be soon.
I go in there, they just all look at me. They just wait for me to leave. They don't want shit to do with me. Don't come. They're like, don't go ahead. Put your finger near the bars. Go ahead. Go ahead. Like I'm all the way over here, but I guarantee you, I can get all the way over there before you pull your finger back. So go for it.
It's true. They know. They're smart. Angel got ASFs from us, and I swear our line of ASFs that we've got from someone else are like ninjas.
They are great. They are fun, and they started kicking bedding out too, that's fun. I'm like, come on. Like I went in there, and everything's fine, and then the next day early I went in, and then all of a sudden they had mounded up all the shit, and they just, and I'm like, what are you doing? Jeez.
They're plotting their escape. They're like, I can get him to open this drawer. I know I can.
Like, no.
I hear that about ASFs.
They're smart.
They definitely like to move furniture around. So
Yours sound particularly like they moved furniture. They
It's
like
'cause
to do
I
that.
throw a lot of stuff in there for them. I have like like cardboard tubes and stuff especially from the printers. I have all these like cardboard tubes, so I just throw tons of cardboard tubes in there. So they just like shred all that shit. All that anger, just shred it up. They take anything I throw in there, they dump it right away, and after a couple days, it's just.
What you don't know is they're secretly hanging that little paper tube up and using it as a kickboxing bag while you're not watching.
To build
They're
muscle.
practicing something.
Yeah.
Like, kick out
They're
the plastic
plotting.
wall.
Yeah.
Plotting.
Can you imagine? Oh, this is
They're
how my
making-
imagination works.
They're making fake heads so that when I look in there, it's like Alcatraz all over again.
Angel.
They're digging a hole. Sorry, it's been a long week.
It has been a long week, clearly. Oh my goodness. Well, it's the weekend now, which is the best news ever. Jamie, it was really fun hanging out with you. Time went by really fast. Thanks for teaching me about Xanthic
You're welcome. You're welcome.
and for
Thank
showing
you
us
for
your
having me.
babies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
for having me in.
Your holdback, that holdback is incredible. That one's gorgeous.
Yeah. Originally, he wasn't for like a week and a half. And then I was like, And I sold his other sibling, which was basically him. I mean, this sibling I still have, but his other sibling had all the genes except for the visual Xanthic. And I was like, maybe I should hold on to him. But no, we chose a visual here. So.
Good choice. I like your pick. For what it's worth. I like it.
It's all good. If you ever want to get into Xanthic, Nikki, just mess with
I know
us.
who to go to. It's true. I do know who to go to. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
All
thanks
right.
for hanging out. Angel, thanks for being here. Sorry Kurt wasn't here. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and
really
remember to
good.
check out Sophisticated Ignorance next.
Whoop, whoop.
There's all sorts of good shows coming this weekend. And Show Me Your Rack tomorrow morning. We'll have Chris Hernan on, so don't want to miss that rack.
Awesome.
Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next Saturday.
There you go.
Bye.
The ups and downs, we stay strong. In your circle, that's where we belong. Lifting each other all day long. In this family, we can't go wrong.